Good evening. Since first light today, drones have been deployed in the continuing search for people missing after a migrant boat capsized off the Kent coast yesterday. But at 3:30 this afternoon, the search was officially called off. 4 people died, 4 are unaccounted for, and 39 were rescued in desperately difficult conditions by the crew of a fishing boat.
This afternoon, a meeting of Kent County Council was told that 12 of the migrants in the boat were unaccompanied children and that one of those missing is a teenager. James Dunham reports.
Listen again. Rescuers reassuring the rescued. Trainers, trousers, jackets, red life vests providing minimal protection. The wet belongings of those considered fortunate for their lives did not end in a dark, watery grave. After an extensive search yesterday, an operation coordinated by the Coast Guard has continued today, with drones being used to search a vast area of freezing water and all shipping vessels on alert to look out for those who are unaccounted for, with up to 4 people believed to be missing and feared dead. While it's not been confirmed by the Home Office, Kent Council has heard today that a teenager was among the 4 already confirmed dead, with 12 unaccompanied children included in the 39 rescued from their doomed inflatable craft.
Please help me, bro. Please. We are underwater. We have a family.
Each desperate soul likely to have paid thousands for the prospect of a new life. Small boats bring big business for the criminal gangs, profiteering from unimaginable terror, with no shame of sending people off in flimsy, stricken vessels.
These guys are totally and absolutely ruthless. They seem to have moved out of drugs and now into people smuggling, because people smuggling is less dangerous for them. And if they're caught, the sentence they're going to get is less than it would do if they were a major drug smuggler.
For Polly Gifford from Hastings Community of Sanctuary, the tragedy reinforces the need for authorities to do more.
It has to start with more safe and legal routes to come to the UK to claim asylum. Yesterday, the Prime Minister said that they wanted to smash the people smuggling rings and then look at safe and legal routes. But I think that shows a willful misunderstanding of the situation. It is not illegal to come to the UK to seek asylum, regardless of the journey you've had to get here. But if we have a policy that makes it almost impossible to come here except illegally, then the people smugglers still have a market.
Polly is planning a vigil for the weekend for those people brought to Dover yesterday. The government says it's working with the French to prevent small migrant boats making land on the southeast. 30,000 crossings have been stopped this year. And while there hasn't appeared to be any illegal arrivals today, there is an inevitable certainty that more people will continue to risk everything to reach our shores. James Dunham, ITV News.
We're going to get more from James in a moment or two, but tonight the Home Office has confirmed that 401 migrants crossed the Channel yesterday, not including those who died.
Well, the RNLI played a vital part in yesterday's rescue operation, with lifeboats launched from Dungeness, Ramsgate and Hastings, and have been involved in today's search for those still missing.
Well, earlier I spoke to Simon Ling, head of lifeboats at Dungeness, and I asked him how his team were after yesterday's rescue.
Yeah, the team are doing very well. They had a very long day, as you said yesterday, at times very harrowing day. But our team are doing what they do very well, which is congregate back in the lifeboat station, drink some tea, and talk amongst one another. They've had the boat out today, as you can see, and washed it down and made sure it's ready for service again. But the team are doing very well.
Like you say, that tea drinking, all part of the process of processing what they went through yesterday, a dreadful loss of life in the Channel. Can you talk us through exactly what they did from the point when the alarm was raised in the early hours of yesterday morning?
Before I answer that, I think it's very appropriate to say that we'd wish to offer our deepest condolences to the families of those that were lost so tragically on the night of the 14th. But it's fair to say that our crews were presented with a very harrowing and distressing situation on arrival. The fishing boat on scene, which did a fantastic job, which the RNLI would definitely wish to recognise. The actions of the fishing boat, which undoubtedly saved countless lives. Our crews were able to quickly then work alongside the fishing boat to get everybody out of the water, to then administer some casualty care. Our crews are very well trained to do that, and then hand them over to a higher standard care, which we did, in this case, to the emergency services at Dover.
Tracer.
You mentioned that fishing boat there, Simon. Obviously, any loss of life is tragic, but this could have been far worse, couldn't it? How important was the role that fishing boat played?
Yeah, I'm sure the exact role played will be developed as we seek to learn exactly what happened on the night, but I think it's fair to say at this stage already, without any doubt, the actions of the fishing boats on scene, in both the alert and then getting people out the water, saved countless lives. And so it can't be underestimated. Them being there and being able to issue immediate rescue effect on such a cold night was so important.
And just tell us a little bit about those conditions. You mentioned it was a cold night, particularly challenging, presumably?
Yeah, I think any nighttime rescue is challenging. Any nighttime rescue that involves persons in the water in the dark is even more challenging. And then if you overlay the complexity around the situation and how people ended up in the water and the temperatures, what you're facing there is a very complicated search and rescue environment that involved a number of agencies. There was a helicopter on scene, there was UK Border Force, the Royal Navy, fishing boats. So it's all about understanding that complexity, which our crews did magnificently on the night, to get people out the water as quickly as possible and then get them to a point of safety.
And just finally, you said that your crews are, of course, very highly trained. Sadly, though, this isn't going to be the last time they're likely to be called upon in similar circumstances, is it?
Well, while people continue to get into small boats and make a treacherous crossing in the English Channel across one of the busiest shipping lanes, in all temperatures, whether they be hot or in the extreme cold experienced on the 14th, sadly, this risk of a drowning event remains very real. So the most important thing we can do as the RNLI is to continue to understand that risk, to continue to listen to our crews, to continue to evolve and make sure that when they are called upon by His Majesty's Coast Guard, they can respond quickly with the right training and the right equipment to save lives at sea.
Simon Ling, Head of Lifeboats at Dungeness. We have to leave it there, but thank you very much for talking to us on the programme.
Tonight at Walmer near Deal on the Kent coast, the migrant welfare group Samfire is holding a vigil for those who lost their lives in the Channel yesterday. Back to James Dunham, who's live there for us now. James, a community there wanting to pay its respects.
Absolutely, this event, Sangeeta, was always planned as a winter celebration. We've got dozens of children here who've brought their lanterns along, and as you can probably hear, a choir performing too. But the tragic loss of life in the Channel yesterday is now focus of tonight's event. Let's talk now to Charlie. You're one of the parents here with your little boy. What impact does it have on a community like Deal when there is a loss of life in the Channel like we saw yesterday?
Well, I think it impacts places like Deal and Dover really, really closely because we're right on the front line. And I think it's really important, especially this time of year. We all just want to be safe and warm and with our families, and the people crossing the Channel, that's all they're trying to do is get somewhere safe away from wars. So I think we need to remember that and have some compassion.
Thank you very much. Over here now we've got Kay Marsh, who is the organiser behind this event. It was so important for you to make sure that yesterday's tragedy was reflected here tonight.
Yes, absolutely. Obviously this event has been planned for months, and it was originally a celebration of winter around the world. But after yesterday we thought it was very important to add in that element of vigil and celebrate life, but also remember the lives that were lost yesterday.
Of course, this is a very humanitarian response to what's happened yesterday. What do you hope, though, will come from this in terms of ensuring leaders are aware of the strength of feeling from communities like Deal about the thoughts towards migrants and how they should be treated?
It's important that governments see gatherings like this. You know, we find when things like this happen, it's felt very much through the community, and offering these safe spaces where people can come together and mourn and just to pay tribute together as a community is very important.
And obviously, lots of children here, it's important for them to acknowledge what's gone on too.
Yes, absolutely. It's important to teach the younger generation about humanity and about compassion, and this is how we do it.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Well, this event will go on for a little while longer. We have had an update from the Coast Guard in the last hour, and they have confirmed tonight, Sangeeta, that the search operation, which has been going on throughout the day that has now been called off.
James, live in Deal, thank you.